Alright, everyone, on the spudrow, let's go ahead and play the Dwarves. There we are. Alright, nothing really happening. Tavern it is.
You arrive at a crossroads with a tavern on the corner. A warm light is emanating from its window, lighting up the road around it. A stone sculpture of a sheep stands in front of the door, and above it a sign, swaying gently in the breeze, reads, "The Stone Sheep." You observe the surroundings, but the road is empty and no one leaves the tavern. You notice a broken window on the first floor.
Huh. Why are we standing?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
You enter the tavern with a determined stride and are greeted by a thick wall of pipe smoke. The dozen or so drinkers at the tables turn towards you, then give each other astonished and slightly worried looks. In the tavern, there are half a dozen people sitting at the tables, and just as many at the bar, clearly farmers and labourers from the surrounding villages. Boindale pays no attention to the other guests and trudges over to a table. Together with his brother, you follow him and sit down. The landlord comes out from behind the bar.
What can I get you?
You hear surly muttering from one of the tables.
What are groundlings doing showing their faces here, now of all times?
You turn to the guest who'd muttered something about ground. The man glances up briefly and then stares drunkenly at his tankard and mutters with a slur,
Don't play the innocent. The orcs are terrorizing our lands. And whose fault is it? You let them in.
Asshole.
I was not at the stone gateway, and I don't know what happened. But you can be sure of one thing. Dwarves would never cooperate with orcs. We kill them no sooner than we say them, or my name isn't Boindle Doubleblade.
The drunkard and his neighbour are given a start. They mumble an apology and turn their attention to the beer in front of them.
That's right.
Did two travellers pass this way? One was a famulus, the other a mercenary.
The landlord shakes his head indifferently and mumbles something incoherently. One of the guests is about to say something, but shuts up when the person next to him gives him a poke. You stand up and turn to the room.
This round's on me.
The faces of the guests and the landlord brighten up immediately. The landlord gets to work pulling everyone a beer and handing out the tankards. Some of the guests say cheers to you as they get their drinks.
Come on now, tell us what happened. We're all friends here.
The man who was going to speak the first time round looks over to his neighbour, who nods.
Two travellers spent the night here. One had a robe on, the other was a mercenary. The next day they left, all in a hurry. Said they'd been attacked by an elf.
One of the other drinkers finds his voice too.
There was a hell of a lot of noise that night, as if there'd been a dust-up.
You left some gold here for the trouble. I thought they meant the noise, but then I noticed the broken window.
The landlord sighs.
Please don't tell anyone else about this. Who would want to spend a night in a tavern where an elf has been sighted?
Huh. I think we're good on provisions. Don't really want to spend any money if I don't have to right now. Who knows if I need to buy armor or something. But I will.
We're tired and long for a proper bed.
Of course, gentlemen.
You spend a restful night in the tavern and then head off on your way again.
I'm gonna save here. I wonder if I should be going for any of them orcs. Stay on target. Sure, I'll see them soon enough.
There are dead orcs lying in the defensive trenches and strewn over the meadows in front of the city. Some of the locals are busy throwing the bodies on pyres, while others repair the minor damage done to the city wall. You enter the city and the garrison at its centre without being spoken to. It is only when you reach a heavy oak door that leads, you assume, to the commanding officer's headquarters, that you are halted by a guard.
Dwarves, eh? Seems we aren't to be spared anything these days. What do you want?
It looks like you've got an orc problem.
Had. Our scouts detected the army early on, and we were able to repel them without any great losses. A small army of orcs like that couldn't breach our mighty walls.
Your mighty walls look like they're about to collapse under their own weight.
The soldier isn't intimidated by Boindil. He juts his chin out confidently.
At least they stopped the orcs, unlike your dwarven walls in the north.
Ooh.
I didn't know that Steepleton was so big. Impressive place.
We have fertile meadows. That's what we have to thank for the city's growth in recent years. At the time of my grandparents, Steepleton was nothing more than the tower on a hill with a couple of houses. Now we have a market, a temple, and of course, there are royal messengers stationed in the tower, which doesn't do the city's coffers any harm at all.
You said you had messengers here. I'd like to send a carrier pigeon to Lot Yonan in Yonandar.
Lot Yonan in Yonandar. No problem. It will cost you 90 gold pieces.
Damn.
If the carrier pigeon delivers my message safely to Lot Yonan, then it's worth its weight in gold.
Then I'll send for a scribe. You can dictate your message and
Thank you, but I can write it myself. Paper and ink will be sufficient.
The guard nods. You don't blame him for thinking you are illiterate. Very few ordinary folk can read or write. Once you've been given the writing implements, you write down a summary of what happened at the meeting of the Alf and the Orcs.
I must speak with your commander.
Commander Valor doesn't have time. He's still very busy dealing with the aftermath of the orc attack.
Probably gonna want to hear what I have to say.
Commander Valor is dealing with the orc problem, and I have important information concerning it. I witnessed a meeting of the orc lords.
The guard eyes you with interest and tries to judge whether you can be trusted. Finally, he stands up, opens a door, and enters the room ahead of you. The commander looks up from his work. The guard repeats what you told him.
Your information about the orcs could be useful. We have fought them back, but not yet defeated them. Come in.
The commander listens attentively, and now and then asks questions as you tell him about the 3 orc armies and the meeting of the chieftains with the Alf Sintheras.
This sounds very grave. I will send out messengers. We must be prepared.
The orc army that attacked you was able to escape.
What was left of it? They headed south. Unfortunately, I can't send anyone after them until the damage to the wall is repaired.
The commander looks at you with a disgruntled expression. It suddenly seems clear to him who he has standing in front of him.
If you're interested, you could try and wipe out the mob that got away and collect the bounty.
Killing pig noses and getting paid for it? Where's the hedge?
You grin at Boindil, and then turn back to the commander.
We'll see what we can do.
Ha!
We must press on. Farewell, Commander Valor.
Kill as many orcs as you can, dwarves. Palandir will be with you.
Alright, let me step away for 1 second.